Hi friends, it is Queen Alita. I hope you guys are having a wonderful weekend. I'm back today to share a prophetic message that the Lord put on my heart. Today it has to do with marriage relationships. So if the Lord has been speaking to you about that, stay tuned. And first of all, I just want to welcome you back to the channel. And for anyone that's new, welcome. I just wanted to also point out that I don't know why YouTube does this, but some of you are getting unsubscribed from my channel. So if you're finding that you're not finding my videos, just go ahead and resubscribe if the Lord leads you to. Of course, always do things as led by the Lord. But yeah, let's get into the video. Just of course, the disclaimer, if you are new here, I just really want to just put this out there that if you believe the word is meant for you, it resonates in your spirit, please take it before the Lord, asking for confirmation. The Lord, when He's speaking to you, will always give you confirmation. So it's important that you get that confirmation for yourself. That relationship between you and Him is the most important relationship. So it's better that you are able to hear from Him directly than, always through other people. He only, gives us messages, just in part and not in completeness, because He wants to have that intimacy with you as well. And for some of you, this word is confirmation of what God has been speaking to you about, which is awesome. I still encourage you that if you have any questions, to just go to Him, ask Him your questions, have that relationship with Him. It's so important. He will give you your strategies. He will answer your questions, and He will fill in any gaps that there may be that you may be looking to understand. So let's get into the dream. I had this dream on, I think it was September 10th. Let's just double check that. Yes, this year. And in the dream, there was this couple, right? They were in this house which belonged to, it felt like they were at the woman's parents' house, if I can put it that way. And basically what was happening is that they were together as a couple, but the woman had to go and use the restroom. She needed to urinate. She needed to do a number one, however you like to say it. And she found that she couldn't use the one restroom because there was somebody using it, and then she had to use the other one that was in her parents' bedroom. Her father allowed her to use that one. And after she was done, she was walking down the passage, the corridor, and as she was walking by, she was walking past the room that her husband was in. And she was thinking to herself, because she was speaking, not sure who she was speaking to, but she was speaking. And she was wondering to herself, like, what she sounds like to him as she's walking down this corridor. And then she headed to the kitchen. In the kitchen, she needed to drink some water. So she opened the fridge, and there were these 2 jugs of water. But, they were open, which to her, she didn't like the fact that they were open. And when she took one of the jugs, she realized that it wasn't really water. It had changed to apple cider vinegar. So it was vinegar, let's just put it that way. And so she put it back, and next thing the dream switches to her in the bedroom with her husband, and they were just, very close, intimate. They were embracing each other. But there was someone else in the room there as well. It was another man. And this man seemed to also want to be a part of their intimacy, but for some reason, he just left the room, and it made her feel more comfortable. And at some point, the man realized that he needed to cleanse himself. He needed to go clean himself before they became more intimate. So he left the room, but he headed towards the kitchen. And before he came back, that other man who had been in the room before was back in, not really saying much. He was just there. There was some interaction, but, he was just there in the room. And when the husband came back into the room, he went back, he held his wife in his arms, lay with her on the bed, just, being really close to her. And that man was just there. It's like that man kind of realized that he was invading their space, that, this was a private moment between husband and wife, and he left the room. So that was the dream, okay? I had this dream in September, like I said. Very interesting dream. Didn't know what to do with it. Kind of knew it had to do with marriage, obviously. But, really needed to know from the Lord exactly what he's saying. And today we have more information from on high. Okay, so I'm just going to read through my notes. And the first thing I want to say is that this word is basically for both men and women. It's for those of you that are married or about to be married. There have been issues, obviously, because there's no relationship that doesn't have its issues. And, you've come really a long way together. For some of you, there may have been a separation of some kind, just maybe the two of you just deciding to take a break or whatever. But this word is for those of you that have either, just rekindled that relationship or, come back into the marriage. But you are together, or you're about to be together with your spouse, the person that the Lord has chosen for you, your kingdom spouse, your God ordained spouse, whatever you want to call it. It's these are the beginning stages of the renewing of your connection, of your love with each other, between each other. And basically what I believe the Lord is saying through this dream is that in order for the two of you to come together properly, some things need to be dealt with on both sides. Okay, so for the women, before I talk about the women, just talking about both of them, both of you guys, it's important that you understand that neither one of you is perfect, and you may have already been through a process of refinement, but there's still things that you need to deal with because maybe in the past, one of the reasons why you either had to separate or you were not able to get together immediately, or the marriage was falling apart, was because of just certain just toxic things that were happening, things that you hadn't dealt with, things that you hadn't been able to process or understand were going on with you. And the Lord is saying that your process will not look the same as your husband's, and for husbands it will not look the same as your wives, because you're two different people. And also just because men and women are different, and you would need to process things differently. So for the women, what I believe the Lord is saying through this dream is for you to be able to release any internal toxic thoughts, emotions, any ways that you may be holding on to, just be able to release that. The woman in the dream had to use the restroom. She did a number one. So you don't do a number one once and then that's it. You go on with the rest of your life. It's a daily thing, and it happens multiple times a day. So whatever these issues are, they're deeply rooted issues. They're issues that may be triggered on a daily basis. I think that's a better way to put it. You may be triggered in certain ways on a daily basis, and the Lord is saying that daily you need to be able to process how those triggers affect you, and how they affect your spouse, and how and then you need to release. You need to process, you need to release, process and release. Those are the two things. And it's going to be daily, because you are human at the end of the day. You still get hurt, you still have feelings, you still have emotions, but it's about how you handle those things, right? And the part where she was walking down the corridor, the passageway, the hallway. I like using all these different terms if I know them. That's just me. I like language. Anyway, so the part where she was walking down the corridor and wondering how she sounds, she was thinking about that. And what I wrote here in my notes, or what came into my spirit and I wrote down, was, as you are processing and releasing, you may be feeling self-conscious about how your husband is perceiving you or will perceive you, and you may be worried about those things. And this is something that you have to do. This processing and releasing is all transitional, because when you process and release, you're transitioning into being in a better state emotionally, mentally. So that's why she was in the passage when she was having those thoughts. And the Lord is just saying to you that, you just have to go through that process, and you don't have to worry about, how you may come across to Him. Just be honest about your process and go through it, because chances are He's not judging you, and He understands, right? So once this woman got into the kitchen, she needed water. She just couldn't get this water. It ended up being apple cider vinegar. And I believe that the Lord is saying that, as you release, as you process and release, He is going to replenish you. Replenishment will come from Him. Don't try and replenish yourself, because whatever you may be trying to replenish yourself with is not the thing that's going to hit the spot. In fact, it's going to be bitter. It's going to be, how do you describe vinegar? The taste of vinegar. You can't gulp vinegar down the way you gulp water down, right? So it's going to be bitter in your mouth. It's going to be harsh. It's going to be acidic. So the Lord is saying, whatever it is that you're trying to do may be more harsh than what He would do. So He's the one who will bring replenishment, okay? And also on another level, so that was for some of you. For others of you, the Lord wants you to know, because apple cider vinegar is actually healthy for you, right? So on another level, some of you may need something strong to help you deal with the effects of what you've been processing and releasing. And the Lord may want to take you through a different process of how you are going to be replenished, right? What you actually need. It may not be that you need water. It may not be that you need something mild. It may be that you need something that will really help you cleanse internally, right? And then the dream moved on to the bedroom, where the wife and the husband were in the bedroom, but there was this other man in there, even though they were trying to be intimate. And basically, this is not for the men. Be careful, the Lord says, who you give access to, right? Especially into your personal development time. You guys are developing together. There may have been a time of developing separately, being refined separately, but now God is refining you together. He's developing you together, and it's a very intimate process. It is about the two of you and no one else. When you're in a marriage, you can't there's certain spaces, or there's a certain space that is sacred, that is just between the two of you, that no one else can enter but God. It's just you, your wife, and the Lord. And it is your responsibility, right, as the husband, as the leader, to keep that space sacred, to understand that there has to be a boundary where you protect this personal intimate space, where you bond with your wife, where you develop together and process things, right? There are spaces outside of that you can allow people into, because we all need people in our lives. We need accountability. We need friends. We need, pastoral care, whatever, those relationships still stand, but there's that space that is just for the two of you and the Lord alone, right? And the Lord is saying, especially for the men, some of you allow certain people into that space, and it's really hindered your marriage in the past. It's hindered that bond. It's created division. It's created just misunderstandings, because that was something that you should have, protected, but you didn't. You allowed other people to dictate, to be in that space. And God is saying, you are the one that has that leadership ability. This is your responsibility, basically, to take care of that space. It's not to say that the wife may not, make the mistake of inviting people into that space, but because you're the head, you place those boundaries, put them up, so that even she can abide by them. And also, in the dream, he needed to actually cleanse himself. And I believe the Lord is saying, as the man, the leader in this relationship, you need to be honest about what your issues are. A lot of men do struggle with even just speaking about pain and emotion and all of that. Not all men, but most do. And the Lord is just saying, you have to be honest about it and don't look to take shortcuts. I don't know if I mentioned this in the dream, but he kind of wanted to just like do this quick cleansing process that was not going to work. And the wife had to tell him, no, you better go and wash up and clean yourself. So for the men, it's so important that you don't take shortcuts. You take time to heal and to process, right? And to deal with your stuff, because you don't want that to cause the issues that were there before. And the fact that he had to leave and go and cleanse himself properly, and he headed towards the kitchen, which was a strange place in the dream. But earlier on, the woman was in the kitchen and she was looking for water, and so now the man is going there. So what I got was, kitchen is a place of preparation, and I just got the strong sense of, this is preparation. You as a man are preparing for that building of your marriage, just building it, because maybe before you didn't have the opportunity to, because of all the issues that she had, that you had. You allowing people into that space, whether she was allowing people into that space, not dealing with toxic things, not dealing with traumas, not dealing with stuff. And the Lord is saying that you are being prepared with that process of dealing with your issues, cleansing yourself of all that stuff that has taken hold of you. You are preparing yourself to build this marriage, to build the intimacy, to get closer to one another, and to become one, as the word says. And I'd like to read here Matthew 19 verse 4-6, which says, "Haven't you read the scriptures?" Jesus replied, "They record that from the beginning God made them male and female. And he said, this explains why a man leaves his father and mother and is joined to his wife," right? "And the two are united into one." Right? When a man leaves his mother and his father, he's joined to his wife and he becomes one with his wife. The two become one. "Since they are no longer two but one, let no one split apart what God has joined together." Towards the end of the dream, that man had come back into the room and he had to realize that, oh man, I'm in their space. And the Lord is saying, keep that space sacred. Let nothing come between you. Be in agreement at the very core of your marriage relationship. Let there be that space that no one can enter but just the two of you and the Lord, because God is saying to you, this is your responsibility to make sure that nothing stands in the way of that core place of building where the two of you have become one. So that is the word for today, friends. I really pray that it's blessed whoever it is for. I'm excited for all the marriages, the couples that are reuniting, that are coming into their season of building their marriages and moving forward despite what the enemy may have tried to do to get in the way in the past. Okay, I will catch you in the next video. Always remember that God is a good father. He loves you so much. I just want to say thank you to everybody that took the time to go onto Bandcamp on Friday and purchased my music. So grateful. You guys are awesome. I'll see you in the next video. Always remember that God is a good father. He loves you so much because you, my friend, are so deeply special to him. Majesty.